Welcome back, Pokemon trainers. Professor Chaz here, the lab coat's on back order, and it is time for a long overdue return to our Pokemon TCG Live Online Match Series, number 73 here, featuring, as you can see in the thumbnail, Primarina-GX, because I've already taken a look at Decidueye-GX, Incineroar-GX, and now to finish off the starters of the Alolan region, it's time to look at Primarina-GX. Now, I do want to apologize right off the bat for how late this video is in multiple ways, but before I get to that apology, one thing I want to mention is down in the description below, you can go and check that out to find a code for an X and Y Evolutions online booster pack as provided by a viewer named Soul of Thunder, who unfortunately, I believe they said they can't get the game to work for themselves, and they had won one of the previous codes given out, but since they can't use it, they gave it back, and I thought, I'll give it out to you folks out there. So first come, first served, go down there, get that code, come here to Pokemon TCG Online, input it, you get yourself a booster pack of Pokemon X and Y Evolutions in the trading card game. Now, anyway, as I say, this is kind of late because I had wanted to get this particular deck featuring Primarina-GX uploaded a week after the Incineroar-GX one to sort of be consistent with the starters, one per week, and things just basically, I couldn't get any matches recorded in time, and then we also had the booster box opening with my friend Robert at the Pokemon League at Heroes Beacon, so that kind of took the precedence over the TCG video for that week, and then when I wanted to sit down and record some videos on that next Saturday with you folks out there, I was really sick with a really bad head cold, and I just wasn't able to record anything, so that delayed things as well. And having that cold for about a week put me out of commission for, what was it, like 4 or 5 days I didn't upload anything. So, that being said, this video is kind of like 2 weeks later than I would have liked to get it up, but it is also, more than likely, going to be later on in the day on Wednesday, what's today, the 15th of March, I believe, and it's later than I wanted to get it up. If there's a slim chance I can get it edited in time, you might see it on time, but more than likely, you're watching this very late in the day if you're watching it the moment that it does go public. So anyway, all that being said, it is weeks late, it is later in the day, most likely. I apologize for all of that, but at least we have the video. So, this week we're taking a look at a deck that I call Sonata's Operetta, because what I want to start doing kind of is featuring the nicknames of my Pokemon in the video games if I'm using a Pokemon in the card game of that particular species. So bear with me as my computer is very, very laggy today for some reason, which means I don't know how well the video will record. But, as you can see, we're waiting for the deck to load up. I think we're good. So let's maximize the images here and see what cards we're working with. As I say, it is featuring Primarina-GX, which as you'll see here, as it takes its time to load up big, is, of course, a Pokemon GX. It evolves up from the Popplio Brione stage, 250 HP. For 2 colorless, Bubble Beat does 10. But it does 20 more damage times the amount of water energy attached to your Pokemon, so your entire team is going to power up Bubble Beat. For 3 water and a colorless, Roaring Seas does a decent 120, and you discard an energy from the opponent's active Pokemon. And the GX attack is called Grand Echo GX, also for 2 colorless. Heal all damage from all of your Pokemon. So once per game, once per battle, you get to heal everything on your side. So, I've got 2 Primarina-GX in the deck, only 1 Brione, and 3 Popplio, because as you'll see, I'm going to make use of rare candies. But to sort of round things out a little bit, this strategy I put together is kind of surprisingly effective as long as I have the proper amount of time to set it up. So that's the Primarina-GX line. I've also got 2 Articuno from the Roaring Skies expansion, with basically the main look of this, or the main focus of this Pokemon is Find Ice. For just 1 water energy, you search your deck for 3 more water energy cards, reveal them, and put them into your hand. So it's going to help you get a whole hand filled up with basic water energy as quickly as possible. And I'm going to try to make use of this Dragonair from the new Sun and Moon expansion. The first attack for 1 colorless, Dragon's Wish. During your next turn, you may attach any number of energy cards from hand to your Pokemon. That also includes special energy if you want to run things like, strong energy or rainbow energy, stuff like that. There's no limit to how much you can attach. Basically, this is sort of taking effect of the classic Deluge Blastoise. Of course, has the Deluge ability that allows you to attach as much water energy per hand or per turn from hand as you like. This gives you a 1-turn kind of a deluge effect using all these water energies. So the idea would be try to max out your hand with as much water energy as possible, get Dragonair in the active spot, use your attack for that turn to get the Dragon's Wish activated. Next turn, drop all that water energy down. Suddenly, it's looking like the Bubble Beat of Primarina-GX is doing a lot of damage. I've gotten over 200 damage using Bubble Beat with this sort of a lengthy time extensive combo, but it comes in pretty handy. Now, what I had as an idea was to make use of the Grand Echo GX, I was trying to think, is there any way, any ability, any Pokemon attack that can spread damage to my other Pokemon? Because if I can even out the damage across the board, one Grand Echo GX clears all that off with minimal chance of things getting knocked out along the way. Couldn't really find anything like that, but I decided to go with the Dodrio. This one is from the Generations expansion. The Retreat Aid ability. As long as this Pokemon is on your bench, your active Pokemon's retreat cost is 2 colorless less. Everything in this deck has 2 or less for a retreat cost, so as long as we have Dodrio on the bench, I can bring something up, take a hit, bring it back, something else comes up, takes a hit, so I can sort of spread damage around that way as I'm trying to get the Bubble Beat and the Roaring Seas powered up. So if that comes in, if that comes into play, perfect. We can get some damage spread across, heal it all off with the Grand Echo GX. So I've got 2 Dodrio and 2 basic Doduo in here just for evolution. So I've got 16 Pokemon in total in this deck. Scrolling down to the 13 energy cards, it is nothing but basic water energy. I'm not throwing anything else into the deck. This is going to be the maximum way to get energy out using Find Ice, being able to attach it all using the Dragon's Wish if that comes into play. I can energy retrieval, basic energy back, so all that good stuff. So let's look at the 31 trainer cards. First of all, 2 dive balls, of course, finding any water Pokemon that you like in the deck. That's mostly going to be used for either Articuno or Primarina-GX, because I have other ways to get other Pokemon into play. I've got 2 basic energy retrieval cards, 2 level balls to find a Pokemon of 90 HP or less. That's going to be everything except the Primarina-GX or Articuno. Everything else has 90 or less, so level ball can be used for whatever I need at that time. 2 nest balls, very good card. Find a basic Pokemon from your deck and drop it right onto your bench. So I basically get an Articuno out, I could drop a Poplio. Next turn I could Rare Candy into Primarina-GX. There's some good ways to sort of accelerate your Pokemon. I've got 2 Professor's Letters to find 2 basic energy cards, which if I get 1 Find Ice off, on the next turn I could use the Professor's Letter to draw a whole bunch more energy in hand. If I've already activated Dragon's Wish on a previous turn, I can just drop all that on. And 2 Random Receivers, because this deck doesn't have a lot of draw support. I usually like to run either an Octillery with Abyssal Hand or the Scorched Earth. Neither of those are really options for this deck, but I do have things like Alima and Judge, as you'll see. So if I play the Random Receiver, there's a chance I can find one of those 2 sort of draw support cards, make use of them to get a whole new hand of cards. Got 2 rare candies, of course, both only here to evolve from Popular into Primarina-GX, so a quick evolution up into the next stage. 2 Super Raws to shuffle back any combination of 3 in Pokemon or basic energy cards into the deck. I've got 2 Ultra Balls, discarding 2 cards from hand, finding any Pokemon in the deck and taking it, and a couple of Versus Seekers, of course, bringing back supporters that I'll be making use of. The only stadiums are going to be the Rough Sea stadiums, because of course my water Pokemon are the main focuses. Dodrio is good for retreating, Dragonair is good for energy attachment, but basically once the Dragonair has done its job, I can kind of let it fall. I always hate to think of Pokemon as expendable like that, but all I can really get use of is 1 Dragon's Wish. That's going to power up the Bubble Beat of Poplio-GX, Primarina-GX. At that point, Dragonair has done its job. I could allow it to fall, but the Rough Sea is going to make sure Primarina-GX and Articuno get healed up every turn by 30 damage. And of course, the opponent could use it for their Pokemon or any lightning Pokemon that they have, but we'll see what happens. Now, for the supporter cards, we've got a Bridget to put 3 basic Pokemon from the deck right onto the bench, so 3 Nest Balls in a single card, essentially using your supporter for the turn. We've got Alima, interesting card, where both players shuffle their hand into the deck and then flip a coin. If you flip heads, you draw 6 cards back. If you flip tails, you only draw 3 back. But, you could get just the 3 cards you need, even if you get tails. Judge is here, sort of like Alima. Both players shuffle the hand into the deck and only draw 4 cards back, so no coin flip. Lysandre, of course, is in here. I always put 1 in here, forcing the opponent to switch around, choosing one of their bench Pokemon to come up to the active spot, possibly getting a knockout on that one. It could be something powering up really strong on the bench that is kind of intimidating your strategy. Bring it up, knock it out, all that energy is gone. We have N in here as well, both players, again, shuffling their hand into the deck and drawing cards equal to the number of prize cards remaining. We have a Pokemon Center Lady for additional healing purposes, as well as healing special conditions. And Professor Birch's observations, you yourself shuffle your hand into the deck and then flip a coin. On a heads, you draw 7 cards. On a tails, you draw 4. So, like Alima, but you always have 1 more card than you would otherwise have, but the opponent doesn't shuffle their hand, though. And finally, last 2 supporters are 2 Skylas to find any other trainer card you want from the deck. If it's an item, stadium, you can play either of those right now, or you can get yourself set up with a different supporter for the following turn. So that is the deck called Sonata's Operetta. It is 16 Pokemon, 31 trainers, and 13 energy cards. Let us jump in right now See if this kind of crazy strategy, which works well against computer opponents, will work good against the thinking opponents out there, the actual living folks, in this week's Pokemon TCG live online match. Alright, so let's see if we can get an opponent here with DK 1092 with a grass deck, which is kind of bad, because, of course, Popplio and Primarina-GX, the entire line, is weak to grass, but we'll see what happens. So let's see if this battle can go all the way through to the end, and I can finally show off the strategy as it's supposed to be played out in full. So let's call for that head side. Why? Every time. And if I call tails, you know what's going to happen? We're going to get heads. So we are going to get to attack first, which is not too bad. We do have Articuno in hand. And I've got Alima to get a different hand of cards, too, because there's really not much more I can make use of right now. I can attach an energy, play Alima, hope I get a heads instead of the tails, which we just got. So based on cosmic balance, I should be getting a heads. We already used the 50% of tails. We got to get 50% of heads. Don't become, what's it called? Whoops, I'm going to knock everything over my desk. Don't become Vileplume that prevents item use. You are, aren't you? You're going to... Wait a minute. We see a Rowlet. N! Yes! So that is a guaranteed 6 cards. Give me something very good I can put down. We got a Dragonair, or sorry, Dratini. At least there's something. So they do have free retreat with the Oddish thanks to the Float Stone, and we're going to see evolution right away. That's not good. But they didn't evolve into Vileplume yet. So we might have a bit of a chance. I don't know. Just to slow them down, I'm going to drop my own Stadium so they can't get multiple evolutions on their grass types. I'll put this onto Articuno. So I can play from hand. I will find Ice, grab 3 more Water Energy, just start filling up my hand nicely. There's still 7 in the deck for Water Energy. Alright. So, essentially what I'm doing right now, even though I'm hoping for a card that can shuffle my hand back into my deck, it's going to put all that Water Energy back in, of course, right? The idea is the more Water Energy I take out of the deck right now, the less likely it is I'll draw one from the top of the deck on my next turn. For example, I now draw a Pokemon Center Lady. Not helpful. We'll put this onto Dratini, though. And again, we'll find Ice, get the energy cards out. Just hoping we can find ourselves a decent supporter, maybe a random receiver. Maybe the opponent might play themselves another N. I don't know, we'll see what happens. So, they might be thinking they really want to use N right about now to shuffle all this back in. I'd be okay with that. I kind of need better support on the bench here. I need to get a Dragonair in play to make use of all this energy. I need... Well, free retreat would be nice. Getting ourselves another Forest of Giant Plants. I could use another one of my Rough Seas right about now. Although, are they going to drop it right now? They're not, okay. So they're probably powering up for the Lurantis-GX, which can do 50 damage times the amount of grass energy attached to it. Yeah, they're powering the other one up on the bench right there. Why are you not giving me anything that I can make use of? Come on, deck, please. See, I'm thinning the hand, or thinning the deck out with getting rid of all this water energy. There are supporters in the deck, too. You can hand me one of those anytime you like. I'll take it. Now, I wonder what the Rowlet is in here for. Are they going to have Decidueye-GX as well? Because based on what I'm seeing here, this is definitely Lurantis-GX stuff. All they have left in their hand is the Rough Seas, or sorry, the Forest of Giant Plants. So we might be in an okay spot, I guess. Okay, there's Popplio. That is one thing we can start powering up, I guess. And we'll find Ice once again. Only 1 energy left to take. So we are maxed out. There's no point to keep using Find Ice. I'm just going to shuffle up the deck, I guess. So if I really need to, I could do that, but I don't think there's any point. Trainer's Mail, what are they going to find? N. Go ahead, play the N. Although, if you do that, you might get yourself a Lurantis-GX. So they're dropping that Stadium, first of all, for max speed evolution on their grass types. And like I said, they're probably thinking, I got rid of all his energy. Yes! I really don't care, that's fine. Give me something useful, and I'll be totally okay with that. We have a Nest Ball, we got a Dodrio, we've got Skyla. We can play her to get a Level Ball. If I could find a bunch of water energy, that'd be awesome. Now, do we see any evolutions? Okay, now I can't play my items. Thanks for that. And now they're going to destroy me with Chloroscythe-GX. Thanks for that. What else can they do, though? Solar Blade can do 120. Actually, Solar Blade's a knockout. Thanks for that. Huh. Got ourselves a bit of an interesting fight going on here now, don't we? Get down there, Dratini. It didn't want to go out. You see, that was stuck on my mouse cursor. Okay. So, we can't play items, which is bad. They have a float stone on the Vileplume. I would have Lysandre'd that up, but they can just retreat. Might as well bring up this Fomantis. It has no energy to retreat with just yet. Don't think it's really going to help, but let's drop out the Rough Seas. And we'll put this onto Popplio, and that is all we can do. Definitely, item disruption is a bad time for my particular deck. Although N could save us here. Not likely. We're going to need, well, I was going to say we're going to need a rare candy, but we can't play items, so never mind that. We have a rare candy. Yay! Could they not retreat? Huh. This could suddenly become interesting. Of course, the thing is, they get super effective damage off on our Primarina. Assuming I could find a Brione, please. Of course, that's not going to happen. Let's drop a Doduo. And we'll just Dragon's Wish just because we're in the active spot. There's really nothing else we can do. So, if we get a bunch of energy next turn, we can drop it all down. Now they can retreat, which is totally fine. Now they can just Solar Blade again for the knockout. If they have Lysandre, that would be helpful for them as well, though. They could just bring up my powered up Popplio. They're going to Sycamore their hand away. I'm expecting to see some more GX evolutions in just a moment. There's one of them. Do we see any others? We won't see the... Okay, never mind. We might see the Decidueye-GX this time. Nope, just going for the Solar Blade, knocking out our Dragonair. Since I don't think I'm going to win until I do something kind of crazy risky, I'm going into Popplio right now. I'm going to play the Alima. Well, first of all, what I'm going to do is play... Oh, I can't play Energy Retrieval. Never mind. I was going to bring the energy back that we just lost. I'm going to Alima. Flip a heads, please. Give me something very nice. Come on. Excellent. We got head. We can drop as much energy as we like, which is 1. So we will do this. Put this onto the Popplio. And thanks to the Dodrio's ability, we'll have free retreat into our Punching Bag Dratini, who's going to take a hit, unless the opponent does have a Lysandre. This is not looking good whatsoever. So we see Dartrix. We see Decidueye-GX. They can fire off Feather Arrow and do 20 damage on anything. Well, technically, 2 damage counters not doing damage, but yeah, of course, they're going to hit my powered-up Popplio. Why would they not? And they're going to Solar Blade and bring down poor little Dratini. Why? I forgot to mention, this is part of the reason I wanted to have this video up over this past weekend, because I said this weekend was like a Dratini-themed week, and Dratini was kind of part of this deck. So we're going to retreat into Dodrio, let them knock that one out, hope for a miracle. I didn't put Wally in the deck, did I? No, I didn't. Huh. Well, there's the Lysandre. And, unfortunately, we just get shut down by the items. You know, you don't even do that, right? You can just knock out Popplio. Next turn, just go for... Now, here's the question. Are we going to see them use that Chloroscythe-GX for their final hit? They don't need to, right? But, are they going to resist the temptation? Oh, look at that. We got something to work with. They're going to resist the temptation to knock out my last Pokemon with their GX attack. Thanks for the tails. I appreciate that. Oh, we got Pokemon. Let's drop them down. Yay, this is helpful. Anyway. So now, they're going to use a Solar Blade. So that's a knockout without using the GX attack. I guess, since I'm going to lose, I'll be considerate, I'll be generous, I'll be nice. I will stop hitting my Popplio. I was going to let you get the knockout with your Chloroscythe-GX. Why are you being so mean? Anywho, yes, if the items had not been locked by the Vileplume, this would have played out a lot differently. Maybe. I'm expecting. Possibly. I'm going to let them get a knockout. A super massive powerful Chloroscythe-GX knockout on Popular. If you Solar Blade... No, it wasn't. Well, I played as good as I could using the cards that I had access to, but I'll give them a well-played back in response, because it was a well-played. They used their items the right times. Why would you do that? Yeah. So 300 damage on little Poplio. A little tear. But that's what happens with item-locked decks. If you use a bunch of items, you fight something like Vileplume, you might as well scoop your cards, walk away, go to the next match, because your strategy's kind of down the toilet at that point, basically. Flushed away. Anyway, we got some points for Dragon's Roar. But let's see if we can get another match and see if we can get a win in this week's video. Alright, our opponent has been found. It is Fomdeef69 with a fire deck. This actually is going to be very useful for us being water type offensively, so we'll see what happens. Bear with me as you might hear some background sound, but I gotta turn my fan on. It's a little bit warm in the room right now. They're calling for the coin flip, so good! We don't need to feel the agony of flipping for the heads and getting tails, and we get to choose who goes first. Howdy, how's it going there, sir? I will say hello back, and I'm gonna let them go first, because I would rather be able to attack on my first turn if I can get Articuno in the active spot. I don't have Articuno, but... Actually, hang on, what do I do here? I'll drop Poplio. So I was thinking what I could have done is retreated Poplio. Well, use the die ball, get an Articuno on the bench, retreat Poplio, and then use the Find Ice, but that's going to require 2 energy cards to do that, unless I had a way to suddenly speed up Doduo's evolution into Dodrio. Look at this, Poplio versus Litten. This is like episode number, was it 1 of the Pokemon Moon playthrough, where Sonata took on How's Litten. Spoilers for that, but that was episode number 1, so you should have seen that by now. Or was it episode 2? I don't know. Episode 2 is where I got the Z-Ring. Wally. Oh, wait a minute. We're going to see Delphox. Probably the Flare Witch Project Delphox. Maybe. No, we're going to see Torracat. Which could still put out a lot of damage. Okay. So... probably my best bet is to leave Poplio active to take the first hit. I am going to use the die ball to find Articuno. And, ooh, foil Articuno. Very cool. So we'll drop that to the bench. I'm going to play Skyla to find some energy. We'll find Professor's Letter to find energy. And let's see that Professor's Letter, please. There's only one in here, so the other one is prized. But we'll play that. I'll drop an energy onto Articuno. I'll keep the other one in hand for the time being. I can use it next turn to attach to Poplio for retreat purposes. And let us check that random receiver and see what we get for our next supporter. We're going to find ourselves another Skyla. Very cool, very useful. So, we'll hang on to the stadium for the time being. I'm expecting... I don't think they could Flamethrower me just yet. They could Fire Fang if they can evolve into Incineroar. Or, what can Incineroar-GX do? I forget the attacks. I used it 2 weeks ago. I think it can do more damage with 1 energy card based on how many fire Pokemon they have on their bench. Evolutions all across the board. Look at this. Alright, so... there we go. Alright, evolution into Incineroar non-GX. So they can only do a maximum of 50 thanks to the burn, which means we do get a chance to retreat Poplio. So we get 30. The burn does inflict us, or inflict on us. We get 20 for the burn. Do we heal? Not that it matters, because we're going to retreat anyway. We see, oh, Brione, another good way to retreat. So, probably what I'm going to do, I'm going to play Skyla and find a level ball. Or should I go for another supporter? I'm going to grab another supporter card. I want a new hand of cards. Which one is the best? N is the most reliable, being that he's not even in here, so he's not the most reliable. Professor Birch is probably the most reliable. If I grab Judge, it would have given my opponent 4 cards. I really don't want to do that. So we will attach to Poplio. We'll retreat, which will cure that burn. I'll now evolve into Brione, which had a higher retreat cost. That's why I evolved, or that's why I retreated first and then evolved. Let's drop the Rough Seas. Heal up nicely and Find Ice, grabbing ourselves 3 water energy. Now, I have to hope that we have at least one more turn before this thing can destroy us in one hit, because they can do 200 if they flip 2 heads. But odds are they're only going to get 1 heads. Excellent. So that's very serious damage on Articuno. Yes, I admit that. But we now have Level Ball for free retreat if necessary. Although, should I could grab a Dratini. I'm going to grab Dratini, since I don't think retreat cost is going to be a big deal. How do I do that? I'm going to attach this to the Brione first. I will heal. I can now, of course, evolve into GX, the Primarina-GX. I guess we're going to take a chance with Professor Birch's observations. We're going to get 3 water energy back anyway using the... Oh, yes, we got a head! 7 cards. Ultra Ball. I'm going to play that right now. We'll get rid of Dratini, and one of these water energies. We'll grab Dragonair, which does have a kind of hefty retreat cost. But I have Versus Seeker for another shot at Professor Birch as well. Let's Find Ice. Grab 3 more water energy. There's only 1 left in the deck at the moment, so alright, that's fine. So, once they get the knockout on Articuno, unless we're lucky and they flip only 2 tails, which I really doubt is going to happen, once Articuno falls, I'll bring up Dratini, I'll evolve to Dragonair, attach an energy, use the Dragon's Wish. I might then want to wait and play Birch on the next turn. Yeah, there's the knockout right there. So, the first Pokemon has fallen. Articuno does go down. But, its sacrifice is not in vain. It's giving us access to massive energy attachments as we go ahead and... Well, we can shuffle stuff back in, too. Alright, let's drop Dragonair, evolving Dratini in the active spot. We'll give it the nice Generations energy. What can we shuffle back in? Nothing really... shuffle back in some energy, I guess. Let's do that. Drop the 3 water energy that we've lost. If I can luckily manage to get a Professor's Letter or something like that, I can then attach as much energy as I want. So let's Dragon's Wish. Now, in a way, we can be lucky if they get a knockout on Dragonair, but in another way, I could just retreat, of course, attach 2 energy. What I'll do, attach as much energy as possible, play the Versus Seeker, get back Professor Birch, and then get a new hand of cards, and we'll see what we can make use of. Because by using the Dragon's Wish, I'm going to be able to attach as much energy per turn as I... Oh, very good use of that Lily. I didn't even notice, we do see Delphox on the bench here, which does a lot of damage based on how much energy all Pokemon have, even my own, which could really backfire on us here. I'm not overall too concerned, though. Alright, so what does my opponent go for here? A Timer Ball. Flip 2 coins. For every heads, they can find an evolution card, which might just be Delphox Break. No, another Incineroar. Okay, if we saw Delphox Break, they could have been attaching more fire energy per turn, which really does benefit that Psystorm attack. So, although they will lose 1 Incineroar on my next turn because of the massive damage we're about to inflict on it, they do have another one ready to roll. There is the knockout. They're being consistent with their heads and tails. They're only getting 1 flip of heads for each 2 flips, so they're being nice and even. But the Incineroar is about to drop. So we see a rare candy. I'm going to drop all this energy down. Now we've got the attacks powered up. I'll put another one here just in case they do something to discard energy from me. I'm now going to Versus Seeker and find Professor Birch once again. Go for a new hand of cards. What do we find? If we find more energy, we can drop that as well. An energy retrieval. Might as well use that and get that one back from the Dragonair. Give that to Dodrio, and let's go for a massive, powerful Bubble Beat, which is going to really hurt. 300 damage. We get a prize for that. There's the Dodrio for free retreat, and I've also got a Lima for a new hand of cards as well. Plus, it's going to shuffle their hand away also. So their next best bet, they can do 20 times all the energy attached. That is 100 for all of mine, 140. If they put a double colors, they can do 180, which we could heal off with the Rough Seas plus the Pokemon Center Lady. Of course, I can just maybe attach one fire. Ooh, Bridget. Okay, not bad. Getting 3 basic Pokemon or 1 basic EX. Dropping right onto the bench. What are we going to see? The normal basics or the EX basic? What's really cool, I just realized where this card is written, you could put 3 basic GX Pokemon on your bench. That'd be kind of insane, wouldn't it? Load up your bench with nothing but GX like Tauros and Lapras, and... Are there any other basic GXs right now? I don't think so off the top of my head. I think those are the only ones for the time being. And now let me think. Are there any other ride Pokemon that are basic basic Pokemon? There's Machamp, there is Sharpedo, Charizard. I don't know, there might not be. Alright, so let's heal up first of all. Gonna have to kind of do that. 60 damage, heal 30 more with the Rough Seas. We will drop Dodrio. Can't really use these supporters now because I've used my supporter already, but let's just go ahead and Bubble Beat. See how this is doing more damage than the 240 for weakness of the, not Rough Seas, Roaring Seas? I keep forgetting the name, Roaring Seas, yes. Alright, so fortunately we do have the advantage being Water type over Fire type, and you saw the basic idea of the strategy. Get all of your water energy that you could possibly get with the Find Ice. Dragonair's Dragon's Wish. I love that. I want to make use of that in a lot of decks now, because you can attach multiple energy every single turn, as long as your Dragonair stays up there and doesn't get knocked out by a Darkness Lariat, or Darkest Lariat, which is totally fine. As I say, I always hate to think of Pokemon as expendable, but Dragonair does its job well, even if you only get one turn to attach multiple energy like that. So we're seeing multiple evolutions. We have Incineroar powering up on the bench. It could become scary if we do not get to heal up enough damage. I could always Grand Echo GX though to heal. Another excellent play of Lily. Drop out everything from your hand, get your max draw support using Lily. Of course, she lets you draw 6 cards, or draw until you have 6 cards, sorry. Unless it's your first turn, they can draw 8. And with a Timer Ball, again, nice and consistent with those head flips. 1 heads, 1 tails, looking for 1 evolution card is a Delphox once again. Now, if they had Delphox break, that would really help this deck out. Have another Primarina. I'm going to heal, of course. Rough Seas. I kind of want to make my opponent lose some cards, so I'm going to play Judge. So we're going to shuffle them down to 4. We have an Ultra Ball. I could probably make use of that. What should I get? I think I'll just go ahead and grab, probably, I guess, another Poplio. Alright, and then we have Versus Seeker. We can get another draw support trainer back in hand, of course. We'll do that next turn, though. We already used our supporter. Let's just... Bubble Beat. I was thinking, do I want to go easier on this thing and just go for the rough... I keep saying Rough Seas. The Roaring Seas? Nah, let's just go for maximum damage. Nest Ball could help us get another Pokemon out as well. Probably, I would think Articuno might be a good one. Because we got 1 Primarina-GX in play. We have another Popular. There's only 2 GXs in the deck as it is, so... Nest Ball would be good to find Articuno just to speed up more energy drawing if I really need to do that. I love the ability of Dodrio. Of course, something that shuts down abilities would kind of hinder this as well, but with Retreat Aid, anything of 2 retreat costs or less has a free retreat, which is very cool, as long as this Dodrio is on your bench. There we see Evolution into Delphox. Although we did shuffle cards away using Judge, they did have options to get back that Delphox. Another Lily play, getting back up to 6 cards in hand. Another Delphox is benched. Do they have the energy to start powering up their Incineroar? No, but oh, they're going to Flickering Flames me. That does put me to sleep. But I do wake up. And if I didn't, I of course could have brought back the Pokemon Center Lady. So we will heal again. Let's go ahead and Nest Ball and find ourselves Articuno. I don't want to sound too confident, but I'm going to probably say this one is in the bag. Let's drop Alima, see what we can find. I still have Versus Seeker. I might draw back. I only got three cards back. That's not that good of a situation, but I'll start powering up this Poplio. Drop another Nest Ball, see what we can find. What I was going to say earlier, oh, only Dodrio, or Doduo. I do have Versus Seeker shuffled back in. I can use that to find our Pokemon Center Lady at some point if need be, but let's just go with, let's do the Roaring Seas and show this one off. 240, still enough for the knockout, and discarding an energy from the Pokemon. Not that that really mattered. Professor's Letter. Find myself a couple more water energy and keep powering up the Bubble Beat. I should have used Bubble Beat that turn, because I realized that we just added 40 more damage based on the weakness. Alright, so this actually could be a problem if they do put us to sleep and we stay asleep. That could give them some turns to try to stall things out and get their Incineroar powered up. So the match is not quite over just yet. So what 6 Pokemon or energy is going to be shuffled back in? 2 energy and the entire Fennekin line plus an Incineroar. Okay. And there's going to be the Flickering Flames, dropping us back into Snoozeville. We do not wake up this time. Unfortunate. Random receiver, what do you have for me? Bridget, not helpful. We will heal, though. This Professor's Letter, grab these last 2 energy out of the deck to sort of, thin the deck out a little bit more, give me more options to find that Versus Seeker, which would be oh so helpful right about now. And, wait, I have no more basics in the deck. But what I'm going to do here, even though I know there are no basics, I am going to play Bridget, because if I do find a card that does shuffle my hand back in, that's one less card that I'll be drawing back to a shuffling that I don't need to draw into. So I'm basically thinning out my options that are in the deck. We do wake up. Let us see if the computer stops lagging the audio. And can we get this knockout? Oh, Bridget on their side. Okay. So a bunch of those basics, well, they only shuffle one basic in, but yeah, I guess that's it. Just the Fennekin. I was going to say, all of those Brock's Grit shuffles back in could come out right now. Don't wake up again. But there's the Versus Seeker. Excellent. So, let's go ahead and put this to this Popplio. We will Versus Seeker for our good old friend Nurse Joy, Pokemon Center Lady. We'll heal up. This might be the end of the match, I think, because if they see this, they might feel kind of discouraged. Let's now do the Bubble Beat for, was it 380? I miscounted. 420. And we can now do 460 if we attach that one last water energy. But like I say, this might be the end of the match because there's not too much more I don't think they can do at this point. But they're going to try. Darn it, they're not giving up. They're fighting to the end. That is commendable. I could show off the Grand Echo GX just for the heck of doing it. You know what? Since we're likely going to win anyhow, I'm going to do that. I hope my opponent doesn't mind that I'm going to be stalling things out, but I just want to show off the GX attack, just because we are in a position to do so. Let's Grand Echo GX. If anything else had damage, it's all healed now. I give them one more turn to be able to pull something off. And if I lose because of that, I don't care. I'm in this for fun. I'm not in there just to take every win I can get. I'm here to enjoy the game, and I had fun showing off the GX attack. It's really too bad they don't have any sort of special effect of that. Like, think of the video games. When you use a Z-move, you get this big, animated, fancy, colorful cutscene. In this, it's just a basic thing, and then your GX counter flips over. I'd like to see them update this at some point and have, like, if you use an offensive GX attack, if, like, I don't know, maybe for, like, fire, the ground, like, erupts in a volcano of flames or something, or, like, fire rains down from above, something like that. I don't know. It'd be neat to see something a little bit more impactful. But with that, let's just get the knockout with Bubble Beat, doing 460 damage. Very much overkill. We can now do 500 if I attach that, but the game is over. So there you saw the basic idea in play of energy acceleration using Dragon's Wish, which, as I say, I want to use a lot if I can figure out ways to make it, put into play very useful. But that is that. So that is going to be a wrap for this week's Pokemon TCG Live Online match. As I said, a couple weeks later than I would have liked to put it up. But anyway, we now got to see the power of Primarina-GX. Didn't really see much of the Roaring Seas or Grand Echo GX, but Bubble Beat with a lot of water energy can do a lot of damage, as you just saw right there. And you can't, of course, discount the support of good old Dragonair with the Dragon's Wish. There's so many possibilities that this could really work out with. Like it says, any kind of energy, not just basic, you can attach special. You could put basically 4 strong energy onto one fighting type Pokemon, immediately doing 80 more damage. So, I might want to use this in a lot more ideas coming up, so we'll see what happens. But anyway, I want to say thanks for watching today's Pokemon TCG Live Online match. If you have any suggestions on how to improve this kind of a deck for make it more consistent and stuff, my decks are not overall consistent, as you're probably aware. I have a lot of like single copies of each card that I use, like supporters mostly. My idea is I can use Versus Seekers to bring them back, but there's definitely a lot more consistency that can be done with this deck. So any suggestions you have to improve this, feel free to leave those in a comment down below. Anyone that wants to try to recreate this for themselves could use your tips to help them make a more consistent, more, competition-worthy deck. And I forgot to mention this, but if you liked the video, feel free to drop a like, of course. Anyway, if you want to see other Pokemon from the Sun and Moon expansion, like Pokémon-GX, I have been asking the past few episodes, leave your requests down below, and I haven't really been following them yet, because I did want to show off the starters, but now that I've taken a look at Decidueye-GX, Incineroar-GX, and Primarina-GX, we can now take a look at some of these other Pokemon that are here. We haven't used Espeon yet, Gumshoos-GX, we've used Lapras, kind of, but I might want to use that again. Lunala-GX, Lurantis-GX, and Solgaleo, Tauros. I think those are the last ones that we haven't seen in battle just yet. So I'll be going back in the video, seeing the comments and seeing which Pokemon are most requested, and I'll probably focus on making a deck out of them for next week. But feel free to drop a request down here as well. And if you have any suggestions on how to make a useful deck using any of these Pokemon GX, leave that in your comment also. I'll see if I can recreate your idea with maybe a little bit of creativity from myself tossed into the deck as well, and see what I can do for next week. And stay tuned. I don't think it's going to be this weekend, because I have the Pokemon Sun and Moon Regional Rumble coming up in the Wi-Fi battles, but I'm going to say, now it can't be next weekend either. I'm trying to think, when can I do the next viewer battles? Next weekend is going to be, okay, this weekend is the Regional Rumble. Next weekend is our League Cup at the Heroes Beacon Pokemon League, so that's going to take up my day there. Probably the following week, I'll have time to do some viewer battles with you folks out there, either in TCG or in the Wi-Fi battles in Sun and Moon, or maybe both. I'll set some time aside to maybe try to do both. I don't want to overexert myself or overextend myself, but we'll see what happens as time goes on. Just stay tuned in the future of the videos, and I'll keep updating you as time goes on. But with all that, we are now done. I want to say thanks for watching today's episode of Pokemon TCG Live Online Matches. And as I say, any requests for Pokemon GX you want to see a lot, just drop those down below, and I'll do a little tally of which ones are the most popular, most requested Pokemon GX. And with all that, we are now done. I'm going to say, once again, thanks for watching. Professor Chaz is now signing off, and I'll catch you next time.